So, we are gonna add anti-friction sauce to these fake switches. They're not fake switches, they're real switches. They even have eggplants on them, or as a reminder to eat your vegetables. So we're gonna take apart these babies and practice applying anti-friction. Anti-friction sauce to these keyboard switches. We'll do a sound test on them first to see. We'll put them on this to see how they sound and feel pre anti-friction and post anti-friction. I don't know if we'll get it all done tonight. I've never taken apart a switch. I've never applied anti-friction. I've got some chicken Alfredo frozen dinner thingy in the oven right now. Real food. So here are the switches. The top four are Zealios. Walk through a cactus. What are you talking about? Zilents. I have the 65-gram Zilents over there. 110 of them. There's 4 linear switches, which I do not love. Oh, especially the Zealios. Like the Zilents are very silent, but they do have a little bit of scratchiness, right? Yeah, kind of weird, right? Well, they had to color code them somehow. So if you this purple eggplant matches the purple stem so that you know what matches what. But yeah, I don't know why it had to be an eggplant. Could have been a dog. So that matches. That is dark purple. That matches that. And my food is done. You guys are gonna be awesome tonight. I know it.
Hello, I'm Teha, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to lube your MX style switches. Lubing switches is an extremely popular customization performed by mechanical keyboard enthusiasts, as it can greatly enhance the smoothness and acoustics of a switch when done properly. Just take a listen. For the majority of people in the hobby, it's one of those things where once you try it, it's hard to go back to life without it.
Cherry MX Blacks, unlubed.
For the majority of people in the hobby, it's one of those things where once you try it, it's hard to go back to life without it. I should mention lubing is generally only done to linears and tactiles, especially when it comes to MX style switches. Although you can lube certain clicky switches, it's usually not recommended due to the nature of the mechanisms of clicky switches. While I'll be sharing my personal method for lubing MX style switches in this video, it's not the only way to lube switches, so feel free to adapt it to a method that works for you. First, I'm going to be showing you guys how I lube a single switch, and then in the later part of the video, some tips and tricks for when you lube multiple switches in a row for a build. Let's get the things we need out of the way first. You're obviously going to need your lube of choice and your switches. For this tutorial, I'll be using Krytox 205 Grade 0, a fairly popular lubricant, and Cherry MX Black switches. My methodology is the same regardless of what lube I use, so even if you're not using Krytox 205 Grade 0, you can still follow along in this video. It's ideal that you have a switch opener, especially if you plan on building multiple keyboards. The one I'm using here is from KeyBoss. I've been using it now for almost 3 years and have felt no need to purchase a new one, but any similar product will do. They essentially all work the same. I'll have links to this as well as some alternatives down below in the description box. You're also going to want a thin paintbrush, preferably a 00 or 000 size. And I'm not exactly sure what this last item is officially called, but at least in the context of keyboards, we're going to call it a stem holder. This one is somewhat optional, it's more of a quality of life kind of product, but I personally recommend it. First, we need to disassemble the switch. A MX style switch is composed of a top housing that clips onto a bottom housing via 4 clips. You simply position the switch onto the switch opener such that a side with 2 visible clips are aligned with a side with 2 prongs on the opener, and then gently push down just enough such that it separates the 2 halves. Once you've opened up the switch, separate out all the components. Now that we've opened the switch, it's time to apply lube where needed. There's a great post by community member Walker Stop over at Keep Talk that documents areas of friction within a switch that I highly encourage everyone to check out, as it'll provide some great insights into why certain areas of a switch are lubed. And one final advice before we dive in, the key to lubing is less is more. If you're new to lubing, I highly encourage you to start with as little lube as you can during application, since if you end up feeling like your switch can use more lube, you can always add more, but removing lube is a much more cumbersome process. Okay,
Yep,
we're going to start off by lubing the bottom
need.
housing first. Dip your brush in your lube and gather enough lube on the tip, around the size of half of one of the gold switch pins. I transfer half of the lube onto one of the slider rails. I just go off visuals for this step, and then deposit the remaining half on the other slider rail. Then I spread the lube across both rails until I feel I've evenly coated the entirety of both rails. You don't want to see any of the whiteness of the lube remaining, just a bit of sheen. If you see white, then you've probably overlubed.
Wow, Alaska.
At this point, there's probably some slight residual lube throughout the entire tip of your brush, whether you see it or not. I like to use whatever is left over and apply a thin coating on the 2 bumps on the leaf. Now, when you learn about lubing switches, you'll often hear people recommend that for linear switches, you should lube the leaf and or stem legs, and that for tactile switches, you shouldn't. I both agree and disagree with this advice. For linear switches, yes, you should 100% apply lube to either, if not both, the switch stem legs and the leaf. Many people advise against doing the same for tactiles for 2 reasons. The biggest reason being that many new enthusiasts will tend to overlube these points, which secondly, by doing so, can reduce the tactility of tactile switches drastically. Especially with the thicker Krytox and Trebosis lubes being very popular nowadays, it's very easy to overlube the leaf and potentially turn your tactile switches into essentially a linear switch. This is a trade-off you'll have to consider when lubing tactile switches, as lubing these areas can lead to smoother tactiles at the expense of some tactility, but little to none if done right. Next, we can move on to the spring. We only really need to lube the ends of the spring, where the spring coils are bunched up, as that's where the majority of spring ping tends to generate from. I take a somewhat generous amount of lube, this time around the size of an entire switch pin, and spread it across one end of the wire. And I make several passes around the outside of the coil, as well as the inside of the coil. For the spring, it's okay to still see the whiteness of the lube after brushing it on, as it's a bit more forgiving than the other components. After you've lubed one end of the spring, install it back onto the bottom switch housing,
it's a sound
making sure that the side you just lubed touches the bottom.
If the spring is a little bit
With the spring installed back onto the bottom housing, repeat the lubing process for the other end of the spring that's exposed. Once we've done that, we can set the bottom housing aside as we'll be lubing the stem next. If you do own a stem holder, you can now use it to grip the stem by the crucifix. Otherwise, you'll just need to use your fingers. Once again, we're going to take about half a gold switch pin sized amount of lube and use this for lubing the entirety of the switch stem. Deposit half of the lube onto one of the stem sliders, then deposit the rest on the opposite stem slider. At this point, you'll still have some residual lube on the tip of your brush, and I just dabbed the back face a couple times, as well as the top portion of the front face with the switch legs. Then, starting with one of the faces with the stem sliders, I evenly spread the lube across the entirety of this face. Make sure to also lube the top ledge of the slider. Also, it is perfectly okay to cross over the edges as they are all points of friction. For the next steps, order of operation is important, and I think for my particular method, it greatly helps in maintaining consistency across multiple switches. Once I've lubed a slider stem, I then brush across the back edge several times. Just like I said for the bottom housing, on all areas we lube, we're just looking for a light sheen. We shouldn't be seeing any whiteness of the lube. We then evenly spread the lube on the other switch face with the slider, keeping in mind to lube the top ledge as well again. And then finally, I always lube the face with the switch legs last. Evenly brush along the top surface here, regardless of whether your switch is linear or tactile. As mentioned earlier in this video, if you're lubing linear switches, then you should always lube the stem legs next. For tactile switches, consider the trade-off between smoothness and tactility if you choose to do so. At this point, you'll still have some residual lube on your brush, whether you see it or not. I brush evenly on the bottom edges of the stem, lube around the base of the pole, and then just with what sliver of lube remains, I brush it onto the tip of the pole. And that's pretty much it for the lubing process.
Strippers are gonna
now
fall
all we
off.
have left is to reassemble the switch. You want to place your stem back on the spring, making sure to align the stem legs such that they face the leaf of the bottom housing. Then grab your top housing, align the logo with the leaf of the bottom housing. If your switch doesn't have a logo, it's the side with the curve, and snap everything together. And there you have it, you've lubed a mechanical switch. Lubing a single switch is fairly easy. What separates good lubers, lubists, from bad ones is how consistent one can replicate a feel across multiple switches and hopefully for an entire board. When you're lubing switches for a build, find a switch that you've lubed early on that you are satisfied with and try to replicate that feel for all the other switches. I generally lube in batches of 10 to 20, and after I've lubed a batch, I'll compare all of those switches to that one switch I liked and see if I need to make any adjustments. Alright, some tips and tricks for when you're lubing multiple switches. A lot of people like to use lube stations, which might help if you're into organizing everything and having an
lube
assembly
station
line-like kind of process. I personally don't use one, I just prefer chaos, but this might be something you want to look into purchasing. One way of being efficient and saving time when lubing multiple switches is to bag or tub lube your springs. It's pretty much what it sounds like. You essentially dump all your springs into a Ziploc bag or a tub. You can already see my tub's been coated with lube from previous sessions. Drop a bit of lube into the tub and then shake like there's no tomorrow and let physics do its thing. The idea is that by shaking long enough, everything will eventually have an even coating of lube. You'll be applying more lube that you need in unwanted areas as well, but for something like springs, this isn't too big a problem. Depending on the switch, I may vary things up. For example, I generally don't lube the top housings, but sometimes I may if the switch is extremely scratchy. Lubing is also a rather time-consuming process. I can lube around 10 to 15 switches an hour, So if I'm lubing enough switches for, let's say, a 60%, that's already 4 to 6 hours I have to carve out of my week. So be prepared to commit several hours to this. Turn on your favorite show or anime while you lube. Oh, and please make sure to wash your hands once you finish lubing, especially if it gets on your fingers. Alright, that's it for this video. Please consider giving it a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and until next time, see ya nerds.
See ya nerds. Look at this background image. Do it again. Do it again. I like Teha. His content is very good. So this is Teha Types. He is the go-to guy. For playlists.
Hello, I'm Teha, and today we're going to talk about something that's very important to me, to my platforms, and that is why mechanical keyboards. Ever since starting this channel, I get asked all the time, why do you spend so much on mechanical keyboards? Why do you own so many mechanical keyboards? And to that, my answer is, why not? With how affordable they've gotten, keyboards have kind of become a piece of technology that people take for granted. Pick one up for $20, and if it breaks, just buy another one. And there's nothing wrong with this, depending on life-related variables such as finances or occupation. This may be the optimal solution for you. But if you're someone like me who types, edits, or games regularly, maybe it's time to think differently about the keyboard. To most, keyboards are thought of as uninteresting tools simply meant to get our tasks done. But that's precisely why I think people should care about their keyboards. So much of our daily activities rely on them. If we think about it, a lot of us spend as much time, if not more, in front of a computer on a keyboard as we do on our smartphone or other everyday tech. So why shouldn't we invest in something that we use so often? Desktops are still very much alive, and the custom PC building scene is still ever growing. So many people are spending hundreds, even thousands of dollars on nice computers and laptops, only to interface them through uncomfortable, unaesthetic, and oftentimes cacophonous keyboards. Now, whenever I tell anyone this, immediately the first question I naturally get asked is, does an expensive mechanical keyboard type better? Truth of the matter is, no, not really. A cheap membrane keyboard can still do most of what a mechanical keyboard can. And from purely a functional standpoint, both will serve its purpose well of inputting characters and not much more. And yet there is this rapidly growing community of people spending hundreds on mechanical keyboards and going so far as to even custom build them, like myself. In order to explain why this is the case, let me first give you an analogy. I am shooting my videos as of late on a Canon C200, a cinema camera, which is already overkill for YouTube. Chances are you're aware a lot of the larger tech tubers shoot on red cinema camera systems, which cost more than a lot of cars. Purchasing a cinema camera doesn't suddenly turn me or others into a great YouTuber. I still need to make meaningful and engaging content, and that's not something upgrading my gear will magically create. However, and maybe if you're a gearhead like me, you can relate, it does indirectly help me in the sense that it makes me feel good about making videos. Every time I pick up my C200, I feel inspired and it makes me excited to play around with it. It makes me want to shoot videos, and this positive mentality will manifest itself in my creativity and content. I think the same applies to keyboards. A more expensive mechanical keyboard won't suddenly improve your typing habits, it won't write your essays for you, and it definitely isn't what separates a professional gamer from a casual. However, an encouraging environment can positively impact one's performance. This is why so many people spend so much time curating their desk setups. I truly believe a nice mechanical keyboard, especially when tailored to your needs, can
Cat hair?
inspire you to type better for longer periods of time, or make gaming more enjoyable, which may help improve your performance. When you can get your keyboard to look, feel, and sound exactly the way you want it to, it makes you feel good every time you place your hands on it to start your work. And that's a lot more important than it might sound. You see, for the better part of the 21st century, keyboards have in all honesty progressed backwards to some degree due to factors such as the rise of mass production and a general shift for slimmer and smaller hardware. People are getting frustrated with the current state of keyboards, and in some cases, keyboards have become a roadblock to fight against instead of a tool meant for productivity. But the scene is changing. For the past decade, the enthusiast mechanical keyboard scene has almost been like an underground community, quietly experimenting with ways to innovate and change every single aspect about a keyboard, while mechanical keyboards shifted to be marketed as gaming peripherals to the general public, for better or for worse. Within the past few years, however, the niche hobby of custom mechanical keyboards has seen increasing spotlight time, and it's quickly making its way to mainstream media, bringing in a ton of interested newcomers. And with this comes new products, new vendors, innovation, and content creators like myself. There are so many ways to customize and tailor a mechanical keyboard nowadays that the world is currently unaware of. From finding the perfect spring weight that best suits your finger strength to changing the material and cutouts on the plate to achieve the perfect amount of firmness in the typing experience, as well as an endless exploration from the hundreds of switches out there. To most, mechanical keyboards are still stereotyped by gamer aesthetics with RGB everywhere and loud clicky switches, but this only scratches the surface of what a mechanical keyboard can be. Mechanical keyboards can be high-end, they can sound pleasant, they can look elegant, and there are so many things you can change about a keyboard to differentiate the typing experience when it comes to the tactile response and acoustics. Additionally, as individualism has progressed in society, the mechanical keyboard is also quickly becoming another avenue of self-expression for working professionals and students alike when it comes to the visuals. No longer do you need to have a drab eyesore at the center of your workspace. You can find keycaps and keyboards with all kinds of different color schemes and design languages, as well as a growing range of accompanying accessories like desk mats and custom cables. With the explosion of industries such as tech, esports, and content creation, displaying a bit of your personality through your custom mechanical keyboards is now something that many are quickly becoming able to relate to. So why mechanical keyboards? We often fill our senses with rich flavors and pleasant aromas, but how often do we take care in the things we touch? To me, the mechanical keyboard is a tactile gateway to the computers we build our lives around, especially in this digital day and age. It's also one of the most underrated and misunderstood pieces of technology. I've been making custom mechanical keyboards and creating videos regarding them for the past couple years because I truly am passionate about this tool that so much of my life revolves around. And to some extent, mechanical keyboards aren't even about mechanical keyboards anymore. There's tons of enthusiast communities and events that I engage myself with socially every day, and I've met tons of great people who I now consider my friends. And it's very addicting once you learn about what's out there and bond with others over the simple idea of a keyboard. So, if you're ready to dive into the world of mechanical keyboards,
Ready to dive.
then you've come to the right place. This video is just the first of a series where I'll be going through and explaining how to get started in this hobby, as well as various technical aspects regarding mechanical keyboards. So sit back, hang tight, maybe grab a cup of coffee, and until next time, see ya nerds.
You called me a nerd. I'm a nerd now. Alright, first thing we're going to do is a sound test and... Let's go back. Alright, let's make a scene that's only this camera right here. Do it. I should do it on this mat. Ugh. That's dirty. Did he say don't lube the linears or don't lube the... No, you can lube everything on the linears. I'm lubing everything. That's fine. No. All right. Good night. You dream about keyboards? It's a weird thing to dream about. I've actually dreamed about keyboards too. If there's something that I really want to buy and like I go weeks or months without buying it, and I keep thinking about it, I've had dreams about that thing before. I remember being in Cincinnati and having dreams about keyboards. Okay, so this is free lube. No lube. Okay, I'm gonna turn up the gain on my mic and do that one more time. This one? Yes. Mic, threshold. I'm gonna turn my threshold down, or no, I'm just gonna gain. Hello? Oh. Somebody just subscribed on YouTube. Cool. Alright. More gain. Check. More gain. Okay. Cool. Okay. This should... I'm probably peaking with my voice, but the keyboard might work better. Let's try it. Okay, I think we're done. Was that fun? You fall asleep to that. I like that last view. You can see the Go XLR microphone. You were waiting for that, weren't you? I'm like, can I do it? I would have been mad if you were doing that during the typing, but not really mad, but you know. Not a bad view. Not bad. I think we're gonna leave this mat right here. I need a mat. Okay. Now what? I think we go back to this scene, right? And then back with music. And now we do the thing. I think I really want to do them one at a time because some of these purples are kind of hard to match. So I'm just going to do them one at a time. So I don't mix up my eggplants. That's a good idea. All right, I want to start with not the Zilents. So these four. Let's start with these four. The Zealios. Start with these. Wow, that's how it works. I think that's how it works. Can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Oh well. I feel like that's breaking it. That doesn't break the little thingies. I just opened up my first switch. I need more light. So the top housing he didn't lube at all. He lubed the inside. Wow, these are tiny. All right, here we go. The lube is sealed for your protection. All right, here we go. Where's the lube station? Well, I'm going to start with the spring. Where do I put this now? I probably shouldn't have done the spring first. Oh well. I'm gonna have bad posture when I do this. Okay, I think I'm done with that one. I don't have to do the top housing at all, do I? Well, these are Gateron. Gateron. Zealios. Right, how do I put this back? Well, this doesn't work. What did I do? Is the stem in backwards? Yes. Yes, it was. I'm not sure if that sounds any different. Really not. Oh well, one down. I don't know if the switch openers. I'll get better at using it, I think. What do I want to do next? Stem. Or no, spring. That one went way faster. I think I got all the sides on this one. All right, one more switch. Zealios. Sounds pretty good for a linear. I could see maybe getting a linear keyboard. Last one is Sakuros. 62. Closer or further away? What do you want, camera? Know what it wants. Yeah, it's a test pad. Yeah. build list is going to be from this test pad. I bought the Zilents. I have 110 of them over here. But this is my, you like the linears? Yeah. This is my first build. First time lubing switches. Today is the first day that I took apart a switch. It's going well. We're on number 12 of 12 for the test pad. And I'll show you the keycaps in a second, but I have a Keychron K4 on the way for the board. And then I have the KBD Fans Rosewood keycap set. I'm not sure when the Keychron K4 board will be here, but I could start lubing these switches. And I have all week. I'm off all week. I don't even know what kind this is. 205, 203, grade 0. What did this come with? You know what? This is probably some awful brand. It's not even labeled. Can you tell the difference between 203 and 205? What's it smell like? Yeah, that's some 205 right there. Can you really tell the difference? Is the 203 less milky white? What are we doing? Yeah, it's my first build and it's expensive and I probably went overboard and it's probably not going to turn out great either, but we're doing it. 205 is thicker. Okay. So you're saying with my tactiles, with my Zilent 65, which is tactile, I do. You're saying I want thinner. All right. We'll see. The rite of passage to screw up a build, though, right? So I screw it up. The Keychron is coming with browns, Cherry MX browns in them. So I'll have to desolder. Come on, more there. You fucked up your first build. Oh, great. Maybe I should not have gotten the expensive keycaps. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna screw up the keycaps. Keycaps will be fine. But I did get expensive switches. Yeah, I was thinking about not lubing the leaf, the metal leaf inside. I think that would help to not get rid of the bump. The bump. Don't go crazy in the stem lube either. Really? Okay. Like this camera sucks, but this one's a lot better. Like that's probably too much. It's really hard to tell on this, but I mean this much for the full stem, I think is okay. Maybe that was too much. You know, in like toothpaste commercials where they show a close-up of the toothpaste being applied to the toothbrush, and it's like a shit ton of toothpaste. I was like, nobody actually uses that much toothpaste, right? Yep, thin, even coats. You saying I shouldn't just dip the stem right in there? Britox. It's really good with hint of lime Tostitos chips. Some quality lube. Alright, boys. That was a lot easier than I thought. Alright. I will say that. It's just time consuming, right? And I didn't get any lube on me. I love this thing. This thing is really nice. Easy? Yes. Time consuming? Yes. Maintain concentration. Oh, I say fuck chat all the time. Especially Steve. Guys, dirty lube jokes. Alright, so I figured out how to use my switch opener. I lubed them. I used my little lube station. Not bad. The anti-friction. What do you do? Oh, yeah, I guess I have the paper towel for the paintbrush. I guess it's not like paint. It's not going to dry on there. Oh, there it is. I don't think I really have to concentrate too much on the lubrication. Alright, so we did the other version sound test. Pause the music. Turn up my gain again. Check, 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 check. gonna take the film off. That might sound awful. Wow. There. Ooh, that was my favorite. Okay, we're done. Okay. How did it sound? Holy pandas, is that just a that's like a combination of like a Frankenstein of parts, right? Kale box reds or something, or yeah. Um, oh, is it off the shelf? Okay. Holy pandas. No, I don't know. I haven't heard those, I don't think. So what do we got? Delicious switches. Yes. Beautiful. No. These are Zilents. They're 65-gram Zilents. They are a switch off the tester. They are this one. Super quiet. Tactile. Aren't cherry blues clicky? No. Unfollow. Block. Reported. Nope. That's what they sound like. And the rosewood. I do have all the keys. Some of them have switches. Some of them were on the keycap tester board already. Nice. It's so pretty. No backlighting though, right? So, yeah. So I'll have to play my video games with lights on. I mean, I know yeah. I don't know. They're pretty good. I think they're pretty good. I don't know. They feel pretty good. KBD Fans has them. Yeah. I don't have stabs yet. I don't know where to get stabs. So the Keychron K4 is a gray. It's like a dark gray keyboard case. And I got the wired version with just plain white backlight, no RGB. So it'll be on kind of a dark gray board with just plain white lights behind them. Keycaps mailed from whale penis. That would be extreme. Yeah. So it'll be classy looking wood board with silent switches. You're doing a build for a YouTuber? Cool. Very nice. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with I'll have to go back in my VOD. Well, I'm gonna download the VOD and cut it up just to do a before and after. URL for the keycaps. If you look up, I'll find it here. Let's go that one. This one? Yeah, I guess so. KBD fans, rosewood. Keycaps. There you go. KBD fans. There you go. You can get beech. Walnut. Rosewood. Guess I can throw the music back on. And yes, I did get the wrist rest. Ooh, that's cute. Look at this guy. Aw. Cool kids are too. I think so. I hope I don't screw it up. I did get the wrist rest, the wooden wrist rest as well. It'll be whatever's with, it's not hot swap. It'll be whatever's with the Keychron K4. Right? This will work, right? Tell me this will work. So this will be the board. Pretty basic board. But yeah, white backlight, RGB aluminum frame. I don't want RGB though. Yeah, I'll have to desolder. Yep. I'm ready for that. I mean, I think I'm ready for that. I've got the soldering iron over there. Wait. Yeah, look at that. The wooden palm rest is coming with the board, not the keycap set. How crazy is that? Pronounce the L in what? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention too well. Keychron. Solder. Oh, solder. 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 SODDER. Yeah. Soldier. Yeah, he's a Marine, not soldier. Exactly. Soldier. Soldier. Keyboards. Keyboards K4. I kind of wanted the thicker frame of this one, but I don't want the RGB. I probably could have just done it. I think the thicker frame would have looked better. I should have done that one. Whatever. Too late now. I want the keypad though. I want 10 key. Yeah. Yeah, I've never, this is like, so I wanted no gaps with 10 key. That's what I wanted. And I've seen those boards with the keypad on the left side, and I was kind of intrigued. But it was like $500. It was like a group buy thing. It looked pretty damn cool though. So I've got brown switches coming with this. I could do TKL, but I like the board. So yeah. Let me clean this stuff up, and I think we might play some games of StarCraft. I'm going to stream a bunch tomorrow. I think I'm going to do both tournaments. Both of the ESL tournaments. Video games? I need the F keys for StarCraft though. Not that I use them very often, but yeah, you got a TKL, and I like the number pad. Even though this number pad is like a little bit squished. Stretch. Where are my other keys? Am I missing 3 keycaps? This would be great. Yeah, they'll turn up. Go. Hello? My GoXLR app may have just died. I'm not sure. I heard that the Zilents were good. I don't know. Just decided to give it a try. Yeah. GoXLR app is dead. $72 key tester? Wow. That's a lot of keys. Go XLR. Where's GoXLR? Oh, there it is. Wow, $50. It's pretty good. Yeah, I want to say this was like 24. And I had it for about a week. I'd like to say that I can tell the difference in the feel now that they're lubed, but I don't know, maybe. All right, you guys can hear me fine, right? The GoXLR app crashed, but I think we're fine.